A very warm good morning to one and all. Today we will be continuing our file system management. Up to now we have completed our 3 lectures, and in today's class we will be finishing our file system management with discussing of file allocation methods. So in today's class we will be briefing on file allocation methods. So this is Unit 5 Lecture 4, File System Allocations or File Allocation Methods. So what do you mean by allocation methods? We will be concentrating on file allocation methods. What does this allocation means? The allocation methods define how the files are stored in the disk blocks, and there are 3 main types of file allocations. One is contiguous. We can also say as continuous allocation. Contiguous allocation. Second one is linked allocation. Linked allocation. And the third one is indexed allocation. Indexed allocation. So the allocation methods define how files are stored in the disk blocks, and there are 3 main types of file allocations. The first one is contiguous, or we can say it as continuous allocation. The second one is linked allocation, and the third one is indexed allocation. The main idea behind these methods is to provide efficient disk allocation and to have a fast access to the file blocks. So why these allocation methods are there? These are to use the disk space efficiently, efficient disk space utilization and fast access to the file blocks. We will start our discussion with continuous allocation, or we can say it as contiguous. Both are same. So we need to follow the terminology. We say it has contiguous allocation. We say it has contiguous allocation. The other name what I said continuous, one after other. In this scheme, each file occupies a continuous set of blocks in the disk. For example, if a file required some n blocks and is given as some starting block has B. B is my starting block. Then the files will be stored from B to the nth location, such as B, B plus 1, B plus 2, and so on up to B plus n minus 1 location, B plus n minus 1th location. So the starting address is my B. It requires n blocks. So my file systems on the disk starts from Bth location and ends up to b plus n minus 1th location. So now storing of my n files is done like this. So in this example what we have seen, that if a file requires n blocks and is given b has a starting location, then the blocks assigned in the contiguous allocation has b to b plus n minus 1 location. This process is called as contiguous allocation. Here what we say that the given starting block address and the length of the file, in terms of blocks we speak, will determine the blocks occupied by the file. The directory entry for a file with contiguous allocation contains address of the starting block and length of the allocated portion. So in a contiguous allocation, the directory entries in a contiguous allocation, the directory entry for a file with a continuous allocation contains address of starting block, address of the starting block, and next length of the allocated portion, or we say the length of the blocks. Here the length of the blocks is n and the address of the starting blocks are b. So the total blocks occupied by a specific file is from b to b plus n minus 1th locations. So in this example we have shown a file called as mail. So the example here we have shown the file has mail and the starting block of this mail is 19 and it occupying 6 blocks. It is occupying 6 blocks. So in this you can see that from 19 it is occupying 6 blocks. So the length is 6 and the starting address is 19. So in a continuous blocks it has to occupy some 6 blocks starting from 19, and here my file name is mail. So the blocks occupied here are 19, 20, 21, 22, 23 and 24. And 24. So in this example we see a file named as mail where the starting address is 19 and length is 6. So we see an example for our continuous allocation. So in continuous example we say that I will be taking an file and the file name which I am taking is mail, and the starting address of my file is 19 and the length is 6. So starting at an address of 19, my file mail will occupy 6 continuous blocks. So we see in this example, so what blocks it has occupied? It has occupied 19, 20, 21, 22, 23 and 24. So with the starting address of 19, my file has occupied 6 blocks. So this is my continuous allocation. If we see one more example, that is list. The starting address of the list in this example is 28. It is occupying 4 blocks. So from the file list occupies 4 continuous locations from 28, that are 28, 29, 30 and 31. So this type of allocation is called as contiguous allocation. So the same thing is shown here. The file mail in the following figure starts from block 19 with length of 6 blocks. So it occupies 19, 20, 21, 22, 23 and 24 blocks. This is my contiguous allocation. So with these contiguous allocations, what are the advantages and what are the disadvantages we will discuss now. This is my starting address and K is the length. This is extremely fast since the number of seeks are minimal because of continuous allocation. And here both file systems, direct as well as sequential file accessing methods will be supporting this continuous file allocation. Then what is the disadvantage of this method? What is the disadvantages of this method? The method suffers from both internal and external fragmentation, that is divided into blocks. If the file system is large and the space is not available, the file cannot be divided into blocks and stored on a disk. The method suffers from both internal and external fragmentation. This makes it insufficient in terms of memory utilization. The increasing file size is difficult because it depends on the availability of the continuous memory at a particular instance. Suppose if in a continuous location, in this allocation, we see that the available spaces are from 8 to 13, means we have 6 continuous block vacant. And here if my file requires some 8 blocks, then it cannot be fitting into this disk because there are no 8 continuous blocks available at one strength or one instant. Even though it is having the blocks at various levels or various instants, it cannot partition the file into those blocks and fit into those blocks. It requires 8 continuous blocks which are not available. So the file storing will not be taken place in that scenario. That is the major disadvantage. Increasing file size is difficult because it depends on the availability of contiguous memory at a particular instance. Next, we will discuss about linked list allocation. Linked list means one after other. In this scheme, each file is linked list of disk blocks which need not be continuous. The example is this. Suppose we say my file Jeep starts at 9 and it is ending at 25. So it can point to any of the locations. So the file zip in the following image shows how the blocks are randomly distributed. The last block 25 contains -1, indicating a null pointer and does not point out to any other location. That is, it is the end. So you see, 1 is pointing to second location, which is at 11. 11 is pointing out to the 10th block. 10 is pointing out to the 16th block, and so on. Whereas 25 is pointing out to -1. So -1 indicates that after this the file is ended. It is not stored in any other location. So in this scheme, each file is linked list of disk blocks which need not be contiguous. The disk blocks can be scattered anywhere on the disk. The directory entry contains a pointer to the starting and the ending file block. The directory entry contains a pointer to a starting and the ending file block. Each block contains a pointer to the next block occupied by the file. So this example shows a particular file starts at 1 and it ends at 25, and it uses 5 blocks. It uses 5 blocks, and these are not contiguous. Each and every block contains a pointer where the next block or where the file is stayed. When the pointer indicates -1, it says that after this there are no blocks. That is the ending of the file. Now coming to advantages. Advantages are, this is very flexible in terms of file size. File size can be increased easily since the system does not have to look for a continuous chunk of memory as in contiguous allocation. In the previous case, we have said the contiguous we are having only 6 locations, but my file needs some 8 locations, so it cannot be stored there. Even though it is having spaces at various locations, it cannot be stored. Whereas in this linked list, each and every block will be pointing out to the next block, such as your linked list. It contains a pointer out to the next block. So anywhere if the blocks are free, it will be occupying and it will be linked with each other. That is the advantage. Then what are the disadvantages of this linked list allocation? Because of files distributed randomly on the disk, a large number of seeks are needed to access every block individually. This makes linked allocation slower than compared to continuous. In continuous, one after other, the allocation is done. But in linked thing, what is happening? Here, each and every individual blocks. Now coming to the disadvantages of this linked list allocation. What are they? Here, the files are not stored continuously. These are stored randomly on the disk on anywhere. So because of files are distributed randomly on the disk, a large number of seeks are needed to access every block individually. This makes link allocation slower. It does not support random or direct access. We cannot directly access the blocks of a file. How we have accessed in our continuous location, we cannot access all the files directly. Each and every file block has to have a pointer to the next block because they are randomly stored. A block of file can be accessed by transversing. A block of file can be accessed by transversing k blocks sequentially from the starting block of a file via block pointers. Pointers required in link allocation include some extra overheads. Then comes our indexed allocation. In this case, a special block known as index block contains a pointer to the all blocks occupied by the file. There, what is happening in linked list allocation? Each and every block will be having a pointer to next block. Here it is not like that. Here a separate index is created where index to all the blocks will be created there. So in this scheme, a special block known as index block contains the pointer to the blocks occupied by the file. Each file has its own index block. The ith entry in the index block contains disk address of the ith file block. The example I will be showing here. Example is here. Here my index file is 19. So this 19 contains all the information of a file where it is stored. It is stored in 1, 9, 10, 16 and 25. Where the index of each and everything is stored in my file 19. The advantages of this file system is this supports direct access to the blocks occupied by the files and therefore provides fast access to the file blocks. In linked list, each and every block has to point out to the next thing. So it needs to seek the address and all. Here only pointer will be pointing all the addresses and the pointers. It overcomes the problem of external fragmentation. And what are the disadvantages of this indexed allocation? Disadvantages are the pointer overhead for indexed allocation is greater than linked allocation. For very small files, says the files expand only 2 or 3 blocks, then index allocation will keep one entire block to point out these 2 and 3 blocks. Here we see my file requires only 2 blocks. In indexed allocation, in order to point out these 2 blocks, I need to keep one more block to point out these 2 blocks separately. So even though it requires some one block also, we need to have an index of other block. That is the disadvantage. The pointer overhead for index allocation is greater than linked allocation. For very small files, say the file that expands to only 2-3 blocks, the index allocation would keep one entire block. We call it as index block for the pointers, which is insufficient in terms of memory utilization. However, in linked allocation, we lose the space of only one pointer per block. Whereas in this indexed allocation, we lose an entire block. For files that are very large, single index block may not be sufficient. Then, in order to hold all the pointers, we need to have more than one block. So, for files that are very large, single index blocks may not be able to hold all the pointers. So, following mechanisms can be used to solve this. The following schemes can be used to solve this. In this, the first one is linked scheme. This scheme links two or more index plots. The first one is linked scheme. This scheme links two or more index blocks together for holding the pointers. Every index block would then contain a pointer or the address of the next index block. That is, here if my 19 is not sufficient to hold all these things, then some other location 23 can be used. When the 19 should contain an index point of the next indexing blocks has 23. So after accessing all block pointers of 19, it goes to 23 and it accesses the remaining blocks. So we are seeing the disadvantages of this indexed allocation. For files that are very large, single index may not be enough to hold all the pointers. Then we need to go for n number of blocks to simply hold the pointers of the blocks where the files are stored. For that, various mechanisms can be used, and the first mechanism is linked scheme. This scheme links two or more index blocks together for holding the pointers. Each index block would then contain pointer or the address of the next block. This is called as linked scheme. The next mechanism is multi-level indexing. That is, in this mechanism, our first level index is used to point out to the second level index, which in turn point out to the disk blocks occupied by the file. That is layer by layer. First block identifies the second index blocks and thereafter the files. This can be extended to 3 or more levels depending upon the maximum file size. Here we can call it as tree structure also. Whereas the next scheme is a combination of linked index and your multi-level index. That is our combined scheme. So what is this combined scheme? The first one is linked index. We have seen that. And the second one is multi-level index. So in this mechanism, our first level index is used to point out to the second level, which may point out to the disk blocks occupied by the file. Here, the indexing can be extended to 3 or more levels depending on the maximum file size. The next scheme is our combined scheme, which is a combination of the linked list as well as our multi-level index. So in this scheme, a special block called as inode. Inode is nothing but our information node. Contains all the information about the files such as name, size, authority, etc. And the remaining space of the inode is used to store the disk block address which contains the actual file. So here a separate block inode is used where This inode contains file information such as name, size, authority, and etc. And the remaining space of inode is used to store the disk block address which contains the actual file. So the first few of these pointers in the inode point out to the direct blocks. That is, the pointer contains the addresses of the disk block that contain the data of the file. The next few pointers point to the indirect blocks. That is, the indirect blocks may be single indirect, double indirect, or triple indirect, which is shown in this following figure. So, in this, the figure shows single indirect, double indirect, triple indirect, where direct node specifies where it is stored. Single, it is showing out the pointers where the other files are stored. In double, it points out to the next locations where the other things are stored, and so on. So here we'll discuss single indirect block. So in this disk block that does not contain the file data, but it contains the disk address of the files that contains the file data. Similarly, double indirect blocks does not contain the file data, but the disk address of the blocks that contain the address of the blocks containing the file data. So in multiple levels, the disk addresses are stored, and from there the disk data will be stored. So as we have discussed these single blocks, double blocks, and so on, figure shows single indirect, double indirect. So direct means here the direct files are stored. The data is directly stored on the files. In indirect, first the addresses will be stored, and that from that address the file data will be stored. That is your indirect. In single indirect, only one level will be there, and from that one level the data will be stored, and in double indirect 2 levels will be there where the address will be stored, and from that address the data will be stored. And the triple indirect, there will be 3 levels. In triple indirect there will be 3 levels. I will be showing here now. Indirect, you will be pointing out to in triple indirect 3 levels of the address will be stored, and from there the data will be stored. So in direct nodes or direct blocks, directly data is stored, whereas in the indirect, first the address is stored, and to that address location it will be pointing out to the location where the data will be stored. And there are 3 types. One is single indirect, double indirect, and triple indirect. Single indirect, we see only one block will be pointing out to the address where the data will be stored. And in double indirect, two blocks will be pointing out to the different addresses where the data will be stored. And in triple indirect, three levels of addressing will be shown where the data will be stored. So with this we have completed our file allocation methods and we have completed our file system management. Thank you very much.